Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Cool.
Hello, apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We're here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week, I'm joined once again by the hungover, tired, disgraced and dishonest Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz charlatan. It's Leshit. Tom Adkins, not Adcock. You look like one of those tarnished that open up Elden Ring, just sort of a withered soul. Poor boy.
I really am. Yeah, I do feel like a little goblin that's going across the, what's it called? The Nether regions, is it? The Forgotten Lands?
Yeah, that's it. Forgotten Lands, I think it is. But that is a real...
Yeah, I feel like a creature.
If you're going to stay up to 6 a.m, it'll get ya.
Yeah, really. Why that UFC, why do they put it on that? I suppose, what time's that there? Is that like 10 to midnight or something?
Well, it depends, yeah. So I think, so obviously the West Coast, it is earlier, later. Fuck, what way round is it?
7 hours, isn't they, I think?
Yeah, so because it's in Vegas, it's actually a lot of the sports pretty well synchronized, but it's not early for even the East Coast boys, as far as I know. It's them, the West Coast guys. It's a bit decent time, but the cards, what they start 3 a.m. here?
Yeah, 3 a.m. here, isn't it, for the prelims? Cool, it's just downhill from there.
Yeah. It will get on top, especially with bad restaurants that you're going to early in the night. It will.
Yeah.
Did you get a free whiskey off the old the restaurateur?
Yeah, it did actually. He gave us shots.
Or was it brandy? Can't remember what he gives you now.
Yeah, it was some brandy. He gave us like a shot. It's like a sort of like liqueur type thing. I was like, what is this? Boss man hooked us up, but.
I think he gives it to everyone. I don't know what he thinks he's playing.
Oh, does he?
Well, when I went in there with Biff, he did the same. We got some trash at the end. It sort of ruined the meal in a way. I was like, well, do we come back here if he's going to just feed us trash like that?
Trash.
But
his favourite joint, but
because you've gone quite a good while without having the old piss up, and then it's all crumbled off now.
Crumbled down now. It's all fucking meltdown.
Nearly got a clean quarter out of you.
Okay. That's it. Yeah. I could go another 3 months. I ain't played anything recently, that's why.
Well,
get back involved, but
there's been lots to play, but sometimes that's not a good thing. It just sort of freezes you.
Too much.
Anyway, let's get into the news here. Adkins has literally rolled out of bed, so it'll be a high energy, hard hitting episode, I think. We're going to get some real good tells off the young boy. I'm just going to check in with the Fantasy Gaming League like I like to do. Every week when there's something to say, and then at the moment, every week there's something going on. So, in the Championship Showdown, we've got Papers Boys versus #Sensational, Parky versus Paper. We had two powerhouses getting reviewed for Parky. So we talked last week about Paper getting Elden Ring and it putting him in a really strong position. Well, Parky's just put on the board Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, which is reviewing extremely well at the moment. It was in the 90s at one point. It's down to 89, but that's absolutely no disgrace. So he's picked that up. And then Gran Turismo 7, Sony first party, released this last Friday, and that got itself an 88. So in the game of fantasy gaming, they are two good games to have. So Parky now has got 6 games out already. We're not even out of the first quarter, and he's on an average of 85 and a score of 508. Paper languishing with 4 games, 340 points, but also an average of 85. So that's the target now.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Like Papers, you and Paper have got. Well, you've done your bid. You've done Elden Ring and done Uncharted. So basically, got the MVP wrapped up already. I don't think anyone can compete with that. So it's down to the likes of. I think the next one for Paper will be Tunic, which is an Adcock pick, which we know better to think of it churning out any decent scores. But
96.
Yeah, that is. Well,
Is that the one that's like the little fox? It's like a Zelda
that's
type.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Keep hearing Zelda being chucked out about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's not just keep saying silly things. Just wait till we see it. So that's I think it's an Xbox timed exclusive at least, but I'm not sure it's coming to Game Pass day and date. I've got a feeling it's like Death's Door where it's not there.
Oh, is it?
It'll
Right.
come, but not on the day. But you never know. Phil might pull out a fucking rabbit and it does come to that. But moving over to the Grand Prix, Gran Turismo pops in, obviously, for... Who got Gran Turismo, actually? I think it may well have been Logan.
Logan? Yeah,
Logan got Gran Turismo. Hall got Destiny, the Witch Queen.
Yeah.
But he had that diabolical Life is Strange remaster collection, so that's sitting on a 63. That's undone that. But Hall has made the first transfer.
Ooh.
So he had Babylon's Fall in his team.
Ooh.
And that is at a 40 at the moment. Now, he transferred it out before the scores rolled in for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is, in my view, it's about as good as a sub you can make. But he's lucky that he had the time to do that. But Babylon's Fall looking like an absolute howler from Platinum and Square Enix. I mean, what are they doing? What are Platinum just like the biggest? They're just so up and down. You had Astral Train. We've got Bayonetta supposed to be coming this year. Yeah, another game they're developing is supposed to be coming this year, and they've chucked out Babylon's Fall, and it's landing on a 40.
Well.
Done. I don't know if they've done the replicant thing. I think they got handed over. They done Automata. That's another well thought of game.
Right. Of course.
What are these guys doing?
Up. Babylon. Get
40.
Back to vengeance. Thought that is pure. Yeah, that ain't worth tosh, is it?
Fucking piss poor that is from them. Really got to pull their heads out of their asses.
Maybe it's because they're too focused on Bayonetta. I think, fuck, get this toilet out.
Some people do say that there's an A team and then like a D team at Platinum.
Yeah,
if you ain't got the A team working on it, you get this sort of wheeled out. Whereas Bayonetta, with Nintendo backing, Doug Bowser sitting there going, right, make sure that's fucking good. You could see that being worked on by the A team. But not good for Platinum. That's a real bomb for them. And Square Enix, I don't know what they just publish. They just publish such toots sometimes. We've already had the Avengers. And then we had Guardians of the Galaxy, which we'll talk about a bit later. They went, that didn't meet our sales expectations. Great game, but it was like, no, didn't sell enough. And then the inevitable happens and it goes on Game Pass. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But they're fucking backwards as well. Anyway, that's the little update there. Parky in a very strong position. You're in a good position, in fact.
I am. I'm still undecided. I've got to make a transfer. There's been very large rumours of the Suicide Squad game being delayed. Yet we are yet to see official confirmation. So
yes, the good thing is about that you've got time.
Yeah, that's true.
We have got a couple of other transfer windows even after this March one. But yeah, that's a candidate, isn't it? Especially if it gets officially announced. What you don't want is it to be dragging on all year.
Yeah, that would be horrible. It was one Jason Schreier, I believe, that broke that is, and like we said in last week's pod, he mentioned that he doesn't get much wrong, so that's...
He doesn't, unless he's talking about quest logs and Elden Ring. He gets everything else right. Anyway, let's get into the news. Now, we're not a political podcast. We don't talk about real world events at all, in fact. And in fact, sometimes we ignore stuff in the game industry that we just can't be bothered to deal with, because I think we both recognise we're not really equipped to do that, especially when there's hangovers. I mean, I've had a bottle and a half of wine as well. I didn't disclose that at the start of the episode, so I'm a bit amped up. However, real world events are bleeding quite consecutively into the gaming industry, and it's to do with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So I just wanted to catch people up on what's happened. We're not going to talk about this every week, about every new outcome, but it felt appropriate just to at least speak on what's been happening in the game space. So and this is not an exhaustive list. I've seen other things going on in terms of not necessarily sanctions against Russia, but trying to cut that market out. So this is what we've got so far. CD Projekt Red have halted game sales in Russia and Belarus, so they're getting snarled up in it for assisting. Sony quietly pulled Gran Turismo 7 from the Russian release from the store there. Nintendo put the eShop in temporary maintenance and then blamed payment issues. So I don't know if that's them sort of doing it and saying, well, no, it's not because of that. It's them payment issues. But then I read this weekend that Visa and MasterCard are stopping transactions in Russia going on, so that's going to cause problems. Microsoft is suspending all sales of products and services in Russia, so that obviously includes Xbox as well. EA removed all Russian teams from FIFA 22 and NHL 22. I believe that's partly due to FIFA themselves binning them off out of the competitions and out of the World Cup qualifiers, but still, that's the stand they've taken. Activision Blizzard, trying to get some good press, have cut off the Russian market. Bloober Team, a little indie studio, have pulled sales from Russia and Belarus. And then the big one for me was GSC Game World, and they are the guys that are developing Stalker. Now, this has already been delayed until December, but I think with what I'm about to reveal here, you can expect that to not happen even in December, because they are based in Kiev, in Ukraine, and unsurprisingly have halted development of the game. And they posted a YouTube video to kind of explain how the invasion has been affecting them and their employees. So this is a little video they put up. It had closed captions, so I just took a note of what was on there. So, quote, "The previous week, we were editing the video about our motion capture studio. We wanted to show how the cutscenes were created, how the time took to watch the videos, write the scripts, and speak with the actors. The previous week was ages ago. On the 24th of February, Russia declared war on Ukraine and sent rockets, tanks, and soldiers to our homeland. Our country is forced to fight for its existence again. This seems like the price of freedom. This video is our answer to the 'How are you guys?' question. Now we are striving to help our employees and their families survive. The game development has shifted to the sidelines, but we will definitely continue after the victory. Glory to Ukraine." So that's that's a terrible situation to be in. Yeah, and didn't really want to dwell on it too much. It's just unfortunate for everyone involved, really.
Yeah.
I mean, GSC Game World, Tori's position, people of Ukraine in an awful position. And it reminded me, actually, of 4A Games, who developed the Metro games, Last Light, 2033 and Exodus, which I really enjoyed. They moved their headquarters in 2014 after the annexation of Crimea by Russia. So just to show, this sort of stuff's been brewing at least since 2014, 8 years ago. It's been longer than that, but after that they moved their headquarters to Malta.
Cool.
Partly, well, yeah. I mean, we were going to go there for a piss up one year, but that's then COVID hit. But yeah, they partly was due to the European Union. It's easy to work their operations there, but undoubtedly the threat of a Russian invasion, which has come to fruition 8 years later, is why they moved that. But yeah, everyone knows the score. We all know what's going on there. But this is now bleeding into the industry that we cover on a weekly podcast. It felt like we should at least mention it, not necessarily sit here and try and solve the world's problems, because we can't.
So have Xbox? They haven't yet to stop everything. Like they can't cut down the service in Russia at all.
I actually don't know. I mean, they've said they're going to stop selling products and services there, but I think they can. I think
they could do that.
They can just pull the plug on it.
Yeah.
If MasterCard and Visa can stop payments going through, then I believe that's what's happened. All sales are suspended. Now, obviously, if you live in Russia, you could, in theory, I guess, get a VPN, use a different storefront, but it's there just to make things difficult, isn't it? But yeah. Obviously, everyone knows what's going on, and that's what's happening. I'm not going to do a fucking weekly update. Everyone's tuned into the news. Everyone knows what's going on. It's just, it felt appropriate to at least mention that, and also bring up GSC. Why can't I say that? GSC Game World, because they are they're right in amongst it. So Wish those boys and girls the very best. Moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to Game Pass March 10th, along with Lawn Mowing Simulator, Kentucky Route Zero, and Young Souls. Can't say... I mean, Kentucky Route Zero I've got on Amazon Prime, Twitch, whatever that system is there. So I've been meaning to play that. I've been warned off it, actually, by Evan from Pixel Points. He says don't do it, but I feel like one day I will. But Guardians of the Galaxy, a game that we both enjoyed on our PlayStation 5s. I borrowed it off yourself.
Yep.
Because you went out and made the purchase. But what do you think about this? Because this is we mentioned earlier Square Enix saying, wow, the sales were shit. And then Phil comes along and goes, there you go. There's a couple of quid. Want to bring it on here? Yeah, your sales are shit though, aren't they? So I'll give you a few $100,000 and you pop it on here and then everyone's gonna please. But what do you make of this? It's a third-party game. It's a big third-party game.
Third-party game, yeah.
But it hasn't had the profile, clearly, because we've been seeing the sales haven't been there. So I think this is positive news.
It is positive news. I think it's because of the backlash and the toiletness of fucking Avengers that people will just, tarnish that brush with it and just be going, right, this has got to be just another shit thing. But it couldn't be any further from the truth. That game is an incredible game. I'm glad it's going on there so more people get to play it because it is an incredible game.
Yeah.
One thing I am glad is that I managed to get it completely. It would piss me off even more if I'd bought the game and hadn't had it done and then it come out on free. Like, fuck's sake. So luckily I got my hands washed with it. Got what I'd done before it comes to it. But still, again, that's... when did that come out? Was that October, November, was it?
Yeah. So it's about, 6 months-ish.
6 months, yeah. That's 2 now that I've bought. This and Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and we're getting it 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
These heavy hitters do come. The price of six months waiting, but no, I think it's a very smart move. Yeah, I was shocked to see that it didn't meet their expectations because it didn't. The build up to it, there wasn't great press towards it. So I would have thought that they sort of thought, it weren't going to do as well. Then obviously when it comes out to the reviews, the good reviews, thought that would have got a lot of people going out buying it. But maybe that Avengers game really did sting them a bit too much.
And then funny, we all sat here last year, saw the trailers and went, that looks shit.
Yeah, it looks like
the marketing was awful. I don't know what... Again, we talked a bit about Square Enix earlier with what's its name, Babylon's Fall. I mean, marketed poorly, didn't look like anything half good, and then the game shit as well. At least in this instance, I felt like, at least from my perspective, I was completely I was really surprised for it to be that as good as it was. Like a genuine, in my view, a Game of the Year contender. Like it earned its spot on our sort of nominations list, absolutely. But if you'd said to me before that game released, that'll be in that bracket, I'd have been like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
The trailer looks like it hasn't got the comedy right. The writing looks like shit. We have no idea what the gameplay is, etc., etc. And all those things ended up being untrue. And actually, the game was very good. I don't know what Square are playing at sometimes. They just seem to just blow it.
Yeah, they do. Like you say, the whole marketing campaign was posh. So they got to play that little gameplay reveal they did. It's like, what is this? They showed a poor version of it where it was stuttery as fuck as well. The frame rate was like, blimey. But no, I think this is a great move round, and I hope other games like this, like other companies do this with the big games. We do get them, but again, Phil making these big moves, the right moves.
Yes. What is this going to continue though? 70 bill being flushed away on Activision Blizzard. At some point, there's going to be a time. I think they're going to have 30 odd studios under their belt at some point. Like all their own first party games, they're going to want space. They're going to want profile. They're going to want a spotlight. I mean, it's not. I'm thinking a couple of years down the line, but did you foresee a future where Phil, Microsoft, Xbox, and Game Pass focus less on the third party stuff because they don't need to fill gaps They don't need to, because they'll have their next.
I was going to say, their fucking catalogue will be so full.
Yeah.
They will have a fucking calendar set, and they won't have to do it. I noticed that Jim's been getting it as well. Not as high profile, but I noticed that he's just dropped Shadow Warrior 3 day one on
day one. That's the
PS.
first day one game, I think, that's gone on PlayStation Now. And if you want new subscribers, that's not any disrespect. That's not the game.
That's not the game. No,
it just seemed like a bit of an odd one, but yeah,
it was. Yeah, but I was surprised to see it day and date. Like, I played the first game, and I am a fan of that franchise. The second one I've not played, but that didn't get great reviews. But yeah, to see it going on day one, I was like, oh, he's dipping his toe into.
Is he preparing us for this inevitable Spartacus?
Spartacus, yeah, I want to see this. So this could be the start of the war of attrition. But I think obviously that sort of money being sent, it's these third-party games that Xbox are going to end up owning half of the companies anyway. So
carry on, they will. Yeah, it won't matter, will it? It'll all be their day and date. But yeah, I just feel like this is good for now. But I just sometime in the future, if these studios fulfill their prophecies of releasing games, every quarter or so, do you need to keep spending extra money on this? Perhaps not, or perhaps they do, which will be great for us consumers, I guess. Yeah. Long term, I don't know what happens to the industry. Do we all just subscribe to stuff and never pay for it? Yeah. How's that sustainable? No, you feel like that bubble will go, and then we'll be left with fucking App Store to
get into that mobile world.
Well, that is the concern, but for now, I'll lap it up with just a close eye of what's going on. But that's a great get for Game Pass. If you've not played it, then it's on PC Game Pass as well.
That was another one.
This isn't just an Xbox job. It's on cloud and PC Game Pass. So if you've got that platform, this is worth doing a 1 month trial for, even if it's $1 a quid if they're still doing that, even if it means paying the $10 that it is, or 10 quid for one Game Pass membership month. Guardians of the Galaxy is a good one to go with, especially if you enjoy that franchise. They've done a really good job with it. And then if you don't like that, you can just play Lawn Mowing Simulator, and then I can't see how you can't enjoy that.
No, unbelievable. When's that pressure washing simulator? I really want to play that.
Is it actually legit?
It's actually a real game.
No.
I don't know if it's just on Steam. Yeah, pressure. It looks fucking amazing. I'll sit there and watch these fucking cunts pressure washing stuff. It's like the most satisfying thing ever, just watching some mucky driveway and then just now washing it. Pressure washing.
I could do with someone doing some slabs in my back garden, pressure washing those. They need a good old clean. Is it out?
Here. It's on Steam. Came out in May last year, but I thought I saw it coming to Game Pass.
It might have already snuck on there. We don't cover every Game Pass release.
No,
especially Pressure Washer Simulator.
I was getting a PS4 and PS5. It's not released on console yet.
Well, Phil will be waiting in the wings for that then.
Cool, that is the one we need.
Unbelievable. Right, this is a bit of not a bizarre one. I spoke about it briefly last week because it kind of broke just before we recorded. But Pokemon Scarlet and Violet,
cool,
coming this year.
Churning out those. Fuck, I haven't even finished with the other one yet.
No,
give me a break.
The only thing really to update was that they said it's going to be a true open world. Ooh. So you can travel seamlessly between all the regions. And obviously in Legends Arceus, it's zone-based. It's still open. Like when you get into the zone, you can go off and do whatever you want, but you have to kind of come back to the hub. I mean, this feels too soon.
It does feel too soon. And I also saw something which really does put me off, and it says they're going to go back to their traditional methods of catching Pokemon. So
why?
Yeah, that's
well. I know why. I know why, because we've got Legends, which is this new spin-off series, which will be the real way to play Pokemon, and then maybe they want to. This is like the new generation. This is Gen 9, I think it is. They're going to implement. Yep. So this is like the next proper sort of game,
right?
And, yeah, I mean, that's a no-no for me. I mean, I don't know. What does that mean, then? You have to approach the Pokemon and initiate the battle. I can't just, like, sneak a little Pokeball in its head.
No,
Bloody hell.
So be like Sword and Shield, I'd imagine. So yeah, you have the like wild areas.
So you can see it.
So you can see it, go and get it, but you would have to initiate a battle to catch it, and that is a stinker in my eyes.
I think it is as well. I mean, they've kind of unearthed the way it should go forward.
Yeah, and that is to the credit of Legends Arceus. That is amazing. Like, that was the best thing. Just that freeness to run and hide, and then flap it with a bloody Pokeball. It was just perfect for what you wanted. That was the dream. So for them to go back on that for this one, especially as they're advancing and making the true open world, you just thought this would be the perfect evolution. But like you say, it does sound like they're trying to keep the two lines things so they can get fucking 4 games out in a year.
Yeah, which, to be honest, I don't want to play another Pokemon game this year. I simply don't. So the fact that if this does, what you've mentioned there, that it's not going to be sort of a real-time interaction in terms of like you can chuck the Pokeballs. If it is like the old school way, that's a real good excuse for me just to say, I ain't got to play that. I don't want to play that, in fact. I want to wait until you come back to Legends Arceus, which will be, I don't know, maybe 2 years down the line. But look at this release schedule, this timeline for Pokemon games. 2016, we got Sun and Moon. 2017, we got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. 2018, we got Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. 2019, we got Sword and Shield. 2020, we got the DLCs for that, which was the Isle of Armor and the Crown of Tundra. 2021, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the remake. 2022, we've had Legends Arceus, and we're going to get Scarlet and Violet. I mean, what are Game Freak doing? How are they managing all this? I don't think they actually did the remake one, but in terms of like Pokemon as a franchise,
I mean, it's an absolute money-making cash cow for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the business reason. Why, because they will sell loads. But I'm getting. See, I've only played one game in 23 years, and now I'm tired of it already.
No.
I can't do anymore.
Yeah, it does see now. I've just been Googling, and that is confirmed. There's a clip, or like a picture here from their official Twitter feed, and it says, you'll be able to experience the true joy of the Pokemon series, battling against wild Pokemon in order to catch them. So, old ways of catching confirmed.
But old ways of catching, am I right in saying you initiate the battle screen? The first thing you can do is you could throw a Pokeball at them and get them. You
could, yeah. It's pretty much only like the first few. If they were under your level, you could catch them. And then it starts getting harder and harder. And by the end of towards the sort of mid game to end game, you can't be doing that. You've got to get them down to red health. Jobby. And it used to fucking annoy me when you used to do that. And then you have a little sliver and you'll be like, right, I've got to get down to that red. And then he'll go and you go, for fuck's sake, I've killed it.
There's a Pokemon I had on Legends Arceus, and it had an ability. I think it was like Slash or something. And the damage wasn't as high, but it said in the comments, we'll never faint a Pokemon. It will take them down to 1. Right. So cool. I was like, oh, that's a useful tool to have if you're trying to just whittle it down and get it and then capture it. But equally, the option was there to sneak up on it and drop it on the back of its head, and that's now not going to be there for Scarlet and Violet.
Eradicated.
So would you, with I know you haven't finished Legends Arceus, but you've enjoyed the openness of that, and this is going to be as open, but obviously we've spoken about it reverting back to what Sword and Shield had in terms of battling and capturing. Would you be interested in Scarlet and Violet based on that information, or is it now like the gates of real-time interaction are open and I don't want to be going back to the old ways?
Well, this is the other disaster for me is I've not long come off a Sword.
I
played Sword before I played Arceus. That even makes me think, fucking hell, another one. I'm lucky I didn't. Well, I was in that Pokemon hype. I nearly was looking at buying that bloody Diamond and Pearl remake. I'm bloody glad I didn't buy that. So yeah, again, that's put me off. I'm in your boat. I'm not feeling another Pokemon game this year. But yeah, I do get sucked up in this hype. So the more we see of it, when we start seeing a bit of gameplay, is that going to tickle bollards? And will I have had Arceus done by then? Who knows? But like I say, after coming off the back of Sword and Shield, I certainly aren't looking for another game this quick, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be doing much to win me over. This isn't a Legends type game where it's a bold move, a new open like the open world will be brilliant, but how much different is that going to be to Arceus? Is it going to make you want to buy it? But no, I have dearly cost myself by being late to the gate with Sword and Shield, so that's now 2 in a year. I do not want a third Pokemon game.
No.
Trying to remember all these fucking Pokemon.
No, I don't want a second, especially if it's not going to be in a similar vein to Legends Arceus, because that, rough as ours as it was, that loop was really good and fun. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. So
yeah,
if we're going backwards, then good night, I'd say to that. But we'll keep tabs on that, and I'm sure they'll blow that out in the summer at some point. Doesn't spell good vibes for the sequel to Breath of the Wild when we've got Xenoblade Chronicles coming Q4, maybe late Q3, and then this is coming Q4 this year. It's like, where's the room for Zelda? Or are they just going to go later on this year and go, 2023?
Yeah, fuck it. You got Bayonetta.
Where's that slotting in?
3, Splatoon, who knows? But they are. It's a big year. What are we on now? 5 year 5 is this of the Switch's life cycle?
Yep, 5 years.
5 long years, but it's a big.
It's a good one, yeah. Kirby coming out.
Kirby, I haven't played. Oh, actually, tell a lie. I haven't played it. Young Albert has played the demo.
I've played the demo.
Overseeing.
I'll talk to you later.
That screenshot you. I was like, cool, what's this glorious 4K winner? Game Freak, take a leaf out of HAL? Is it?
I don't know who's doing Kirby.
HAL Studios, I think. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's certainly going to be a lot on this year. It's a big year. It's already started to an absolute belt. Could this be another? Was 2017 a good year?
We got Zelda and Mario Odyssey, which I think we got Splatoon. We got God of War. No, we didn't get God of War. We got Horizon, didn't we?
Yeah, Horizon.
I mean, this year anyway is already like February itself was just incredible.
Incredible, yeah. It's just going to continue, and now we've got. They just seem to be dropping. This is the Nintendo way now. Is to. No, they don't wait for big events. I can never get hyped now. Well, I will every time, but these bloody directs, that's not. They don't do big announcements there. They just chuck these ones out whenever they want. Like this one was like a Pokemon. What was it, like a sort of Pokemon Day thing?
Yeah.
They just chucked it. Oh yeah, there's a new one coming this year. Fucking hell! Could have saved that for E3. That could have been your fucking and last thing. But that is the Nintendo way, just to do the unthinkable, what you don't expect.
No.
And here in fucking February, March, we're sitting there going, right, we've got another Pokemon game. Good lord.
Pokemon game, got Xenoblade, Kirby, at the moment we've got Breath of the Wild. At the moment we've got Bayonetta. I mean, this, for just Nintendo alone, it's going to be, in my opinion, a much improved year. But we'll see how things actually pan out, because it's still very early in the year, despite it feeling like it's halfway through the year because of all the shit that's happened, acquisitions and all the likes of that, and fucking wars kicking off. Fuck me, I'm aging. BAFTA nominations. Thought I want to do a quick recap of these. Returnal and It Takes Two are leading the pack with 8 nominations each across various categories. But the best game, which I guess is their game of the year, has got Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Inscription appearing again. I have to play that.
Knowledge, yeah.
It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and Returnal. So, got no real opinion there. It's a pretty standardish list.
Where's your Forza Horizon, eh?
Well, the thing is, the BAFTA's a little bit biased towards British games, and that's made by those boys at Playground, who are based in the UK. So that doesn't seem impossible. But It Takes Two has landed the DICE Award and the Game Awards, so it could land another here of the BAFTAs.
Sure.
What do you think of this headline? Elden Ring is the biggest non-FIFA or Call of Duty launch since Red Dead Redemption 2, according to the UK digital charts.
Digital charts, cool.
So worth keeping in mind, the digital charts don't include any Nintendo games. They don't share that data.
Right.
The more I hear stories about this, I like them because they're really insightful, but there's always a caveat. It's always missing something. It's always just half the story. I'm just like, why are we not in a situation where I can just see everything? Jenny. I want to know. I want to know everything. And these fucks...
They're just a section of the pie.
Yeah. I want the whole pie, Jennifer. They won't give it to me.
It's annoying. But I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Because there's like so many people I know.
Just quickly, you're not surprised, motherfucker. UFC reference. Did you see on their mat, it had an Elden Ring advert on the Octagon mat? That's big money. That is big marketing money that has been spent.
This is their biggest game, isn't it? Like,
It's pissed away over all the other Souls ones. Yeah. So we've got the sales are 2.5 times Horizon Forbidden West, which it's on more platforms, admittedly. But we know PlayStation's the leading console market, so that's still impressive. Like I said, it's the biggest non-Call of Duty or FIFA game since Red Dead in October of 2018. So it's bigger than Cyberpunk 2077, bigger than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which both came out in 2020. This is also interesting. This is GSD's figures. The digital downloads, this is digital only, like I said, accounted for over 68% of Elden Ring sales. So most people going digital. Xbox and PC were the biggest digital platforms. Almost 85% of Elden Ring sales on Xbox were downloaded, and on PC it was 73%. That's insane, especially for the Xbox side. The PC, I mean, who the fuck buys physical, really? I mean, I know people do, but that's a very small minority. But for 85% of Elden Ring sales on Xbox to be digital, that's huge. Because PS5 and PS4, it's 50%. So it's still that even split. We've still got a battle going on there.
It's insane. To think mostly single player game. And it's almost like 1 million...
concurrent players on Steam.
Players, cool, for a single game. This is unbelievable. But like I say, I am not surprised. The sort of, the stature of this game, the hype it's getting, the people I'm seeing crumbling. I'm amazed I haven't crumbled already. It's because I fear the game.
It's not. It's because you've been pissed up for the last few weeks.
that is true. If I weren't, I might have done it. But I have been gushing at this game recently. It looks incredible. I definitely will get it somewhere down the line, but it's a big old commitment.
It needs its space.
Yeah, it needs its space, definitely. But it does. I mean, like I say, I've got a couple of mates that have already just gone, fuck it, this game looks incredible. I'm going to play it. It seems to be getting a new... I suppose Thing probably did as well, but Demon's Souls, but that was just on one platform, like you say. So getting these new bloods in, thinking, what's all this Soulsborne? But this game really does feel like the jumping on point. Not saying that that's just, people saying, it's easy, I bet it fucking ain't. But it's certainly...
When we had Adcock on last week, like, the thing I took away from it was that, like, yes, it's probably just as difficult, if not more difficult in some sections, but you can fuck off and do something else.
Yeah.
Like, whereas in, traditional Souls or Sekiro, you kind of had an area you could farm. Yeah. I mean, in Sekiro, you couldn't even farm, so that wasn't even an option. You had to beat it off your own back. But now you can sort of wander off and find, and this is the other thing that's coming out, and that he had mentioned, that you're finding some really interesting stuff in the open world as you explore. So by hitting these big walls, these big bosses that are like killing you, one shot in you or two shot in you, you're kind of forced to go off the beaten path, and then you're finding little dungeons and coves and caves to find new interesting stuff, which makes it not as... I guess it, in theory, would make it less frustrating because you're not stuck in the same zone.
That's it. Yeah.
Going after Bloodstar fucking beasts. It took me fucking 8 hours to get through.
Exactly
you
that.
Bastards.
Yeah, it really does. And this game's it's crushing my experience with other games. Like, so many people talking about this game, saying like it's the perfect open world. It shits all over that Ubisoft cluttered open world. So now while I'm playing Horizon, I've got all these little dots coming up and everything. I'm sitting this poison's rotting my mind.
It is rot though, because
yeah,
there is a
rot.
balance to be. Because Horizon, I don't know why they haven't just made this little tweak, this little extra step. You can turn off all the icons on the map.
Yep.
You can turn off the waypoint if you want to.
Right.
But you cannot turn off the quest locations on the map.
Oh, right.
For some reason, they remain. It's like, and the thing is, the more I play Horizon, the more if you notice when you speak to someone, whether it's a side quest or a main quest, in most situations, and perhaps not all, because I've not really been tracking it, but in most situations I've noticed, they will say it's southwest of X, it's northeast of here. So they're already giving you, if you wanted to do this whole like explore and no quest marker, you've kind of already got the information you need. Yeah. But they've left on the fucking quest markers on the map. And I don't know why there's not an option just to remove that as well and say, well, I want to play this completely naked. And it's like, okay, we'll give you that experience if you want to do it. Because then you got the best of both worlds. For those that want a more guided experience, it's there. For those that truly want to just know that it's in the northeast for the next sort of stage of the quest, they can wander off up there and look for landmarks and stuff. And because Assassin's Creed Odyssey tried this. Yeah, I felt like they reined it in on Valhalla slightly, and that felt more checkpoint to checkpoint. But at least show you to an area, and you have to find it within the area. But yeah, I've seen a lot of praise for that particular item, and I guess that really does come down to preference. I don't think it's anything, because on one hand, it's not intuitive to a player, is it, to do that? No. So I can see it
can be off-putting.
But
yeah, it can. I think you're right. You do need a balance. I'm typically a fan of the Ubisoft clear down merchant, but it is growing tiresome. But it just, I don't know. It's something about that world and that freedom to explore and the reward you get for going off and doing your shit. And it's almost like the fucking elitism of the non-handheld. You forget how handheldy these games are. You know, you're being dragged through these worlds and shown where to go.
Yeah.
It just really sounds like Elden Ring strips everything back like that and just chucks you out and go.
Just make your own quest log.
Mate. Yeah, it's it. Yeah. Clarky was telling me. He said it just feels like a Skyrim game because you're constantly not doing. Like, you don't even think about the main quest. That's not the point of the game. He says you just go off on your own little adventure. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm supposed to be going to do a main quest here, aren't I? Just spent 3 hours fucking trying to beat this little cunt. So, yeah, it's remarkable.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see. Eventually, I hope to play it in the near future, but I refuse to compromise at the moment Horizon Forbidden West. And also, I think I've said this several times now, it would be almost foolish to go from Forbidden West into Elden Ring. I would need a palate cleanser of sorts. There's plenty out there. I've got backlogs of games. We mentioned Kirby earlier. That could possibly be a nice palate cleanser. But yeah, it's doing gangbusters. I wonder how many. I really wanted to. I wish we had like a source in like game and say how many people have traded this in. Yeah, we've gone down to that first bloke on the horse and been blown away in 2 shots, and then
this is
sent
any
it back.
Indication. But I remember just after Demon's Souls came out, there was fucking hundreds on that Facebook Marketplace.
Oh yeah,
Have a look. How many Elden Rings we got on here? I'm sure there'll be a few.
Got Demon's Souls running riot, looking like the absolute bee's knees, and then Elden Ring looking like fucking 360 era game. Some people are saying, running like one.
A few on here, but
Cock will get annoyed.
It'd definitely be interesting to see how many, because there's a lot of people picking it up.
A lot of people that aren't prepared for what.
That's it, yeah. I think a lot of like this, they hear these reviews and go, "Oh, fucking
George R.R. Martin's wrote it." They'll hear
Game of Thrones, fucking absolute quest. But it might be a good idea to try and pick this up, get that PS. It's so annoying that PS4 version don't come with a free upgrade. That could be the dream boat. pick that up for 20 bills. You're laughing.
Absolutely taking titles. Last point on the GSD data. This is digital and physical numbers. This is like percentage of sales between the platforms. 32% were on PS5, 30% on PC, 29% on Xbox, 9% on the PS4. So it's pretty evenly split.
Yeah.
I know they've obviously there you could say that Sony have got close to 40% because PS4 and PS5 merged together. The Xbox figure is just one figure, but yeah, the one thing that is annoying at the moment is there's undoubtedly some technical issues for us purists that like things to be running smoothly. Looking even on the PC, you've got this weird stuttering thing that, as you go deeper, becomes more prevalent because it's loading newer areas and creatures in. So you get these weird stutters and stoppages. And it's like, come on, you slugs!
Yeah.
Fucking hire someone to sort that out. That's always been their Achilles heel, but hoping to get it in. Obviously, Adcock's, honestly, he has not stopped playing it. I pop onto that PS app when I'm playing Horizon and I check just occasionally who's on there. He's always on Elden Ring. I think he's done like 40 hours since last spoke to him, so he's really giving that a good pounding. But it's a real beast of a game, so hoping to hear a full report.
I like watching it as well. Normally these typical games, I hate watching it because it's full of spoilers and stuff. But it's just enjoyable watching people
die.
I've been watching that. Yeah, just crushed at that. What's his name? Dr. Lupo, is it? I don't really watch his videos, but just happened to start watching him streaming it, and I found myself, he was like streaming all day long.
Yep.
And I was just sat there just watching him, just like he was very good at the game. He obviously is a Souls-born man. And just the things he does, he'll just come across one boss and fucking first time, and I'm like, cool, how's he done that? But just that, he's just going off. He has no sense of direction. He just goes over there because there's an area that he thinks, I haven't done this bit. And then all of a sudden he's fucking God knows where, fighting God knows what. But it looks fucking hard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's part of the game as well.
Part of the game, isn't it?
These barren wastelands getting best open world ever, and you're like, okay,
go in here.
We'll see for ourselves. Resident Evil 2, 3 and 7 are officially coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and or S. No release date was given for these new versions of the games. However, quote, upgrade patches for all three games will be released for the PC, released for PC players at no extra cost when the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions launch. So that suggests to me the PC is going to be free, but doesn't confirm to me that we ain't going to be paying something for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now, I've only done Resident Evil 2. I think is one of the greats of last generation. I really think that's top draw, that one.
Yeah.
And I only did. I can't remember how they framed it. They framed it not scenarios, but there was like Leon goes first, and then what's that bloody bird's name? Claire goes first. So you could one of them was the main, then you'd pay like the remix afterwards. And I'd done Leon A and Claire B basically, and I never went back and did Claire B, Claire A, Leon B. And not that I was waiting for something like this, but I just never did. Yeah. If this is a reasonable upgrade, then I'll jump back in and do that, I think, because that game ran and looked beautiful anyway, so I'd be interested to see what they do. Yeah,
I'm interested to see what they do, unless they actually have been working on it and they're going to introduce ray tracing or something, because it was a really nice game, and it was one of those games as well, which was split evenly across the two. I think I actually do have it on Xbox and PlayStation 4. So, it was one of the things, they were both the same sort of frame rate, both the same resolution. And it was ran crystal, look crystal. So, I'm interested to see exactly what they do. But like you say, it's very nice to go back into it because they are wicked games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or trophies as well. Mind you, platinum that, there's one yet to do it on the fucking hardest difficulty in like about 3 hours.
Yeah. Some of the I mean, they are the Resident Evil 2 in particular, and I think 3 is probably the same, just a bit shorter, but if you love just getting your teeth into a game and replaying it and just trying to hone like a run of a game, that adds such a good balance for that. Like, incredible. Like, an excuse to go back to that I did not need, and this may provide that. But again, very busy year. Could it be a palate cleanser? Potentially, we'll see.
What about 7? You going back to that?
No, to that one, no. I mean, don't get me wrong, love that game. Great game, but I have no interest in being that scared again. So
that was horrible.
That was horrible, yeah. But good.
Yeah,
good in a horrible way.
Yeah.
What do you make of this one? Gran Turismo microtransactions go live after the reviews. Cars that had cost $5 before on GT Sports now cost $40. Players can buy in-game credits in packs of up to $20 each. I mean, I don't know how this translates. It's difficult without playing it to say how egregious it is, because we don't know how many credits you get playing the game, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But really, the conversation is, once again, we've got a game that has we've had a game that has been reviewed highly, as we mentioned earlier, in 88. So one of the upper games of the year so far, would have been an upper game for last year. And then on release day, they unleash the microtransactions. And I'm not saying it ruins the game. We don't know, like I said. No. However, this was not taken into account when the game was looked at and reviewed. Very few outlets will go back and reevaluate their opinion of it. And just begs the question, one, is this...
How's this allowed?
Well, is this filth from Sony by doing this? And then B, I mean, how culpable are these outlets really? Because, they're...
Normally, it's...
You just got to wait. You got to have the stones to wait and say, look, if I actually care about my reviews being critiqued from how accurate are we, then I feel like you should, if you think this is happening or this is part of it, something's locked away, you should absolutely just forego the day one fucking embargo traffic that you're going to get. I understand the business reasons why outlets do it, because that's where they get most of their traffic, will be for when the reviews go up for everyone. But do you not care that what you're pumping out actually doesn't potentially reflect the whole product?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It really does. It's the Easy Allies that tend to do their reviews a couple of days after. They're normally late to the boat, aren't they?
Yeah, they haven't put up their Gran Turismo 7 review yet. They put up like an impressions video on the day, so that here's what we think after X amount of hours. They've definitely they don't chase that day one embargo date as much as other outlets, where it feels like they can't miss it. And we even saw this a little bit with Elden Ring. There's a conversation bubbling up there, because many of the reviews would state, well, I haven't finished it yet.
Right, yeah. And
it's like, well, what if the fucking ending is that you shake hands with Hitler and walk off into the sunset? Would that not sour the game slightly for you? I mean, it won't happen with any luck. But
you don't know.
You don't know, do you? You don't know what the full game holds. So there's a conversation to be had. Anyway, I've been rambling. Off you go.
No, I do agree. I mean, there's microtransactions in Forza. And I'm not a fan of it, but it's there. It doesn't. It's cars again.
It's not egregious.
Yeah, it's not egregious. It's not like you need to buy this car and this will piss. You'll be able to piss this easy. It's almost like a cosmetic type thing, really. It's just another car, but yeah, it should be. I don't think this should be allowed. Like, that's part of the game. That's if you're reviewing the game, to sneak that in after the review's done. That's equally as bad as Cyberpunk chucking out the PC version and holding back those console versions.
Well, it is. You're not wrong. It's the same thing, isn't it? Something that's
is off.
That's potentially nefarious. You're kind of trying to hold it back and get the reviews out, so people just chuck in and then find out that because I don't think this has happened, because we would have read about it by now. But they could have, if they wanted to, rebalance the game so that credits were hard to come by, so that it was trying to tempt people to buy and pay with real money. And the people that have reviewed it will be like, don't know, weren't there when I did it. Next.
Yeah. That is. Yeah, it is naughty.
It is naughty, as Mr. Lapper said. It is naughty. I think it's naughty on all accounts.
It is.
If you want your reviews to be taken seriously, and then for you to sit there and vote at the Game Awards and all that shit, you should think about: is it worth getting on high horse here, but journalistic integrity. Like,
Yes, yeah.
let's
Has
just
this got you sniffing at these high reviews for Grinch?
not at £70, Jim.
Oh, yeah, forget about that.
No, it's
Oh.
just no,
Is that
not
much
enough.
it is it?
Yeah, it's 70 bones because it's a fucking first party
Oh,
job, isn't it? And there's no sneaky upgrade to be getting
Dirty
off
bastards.
of a. So yeah, no, not
64.
really. I mean, if it comes cheap or if it arrives in a Spartacus package, maybe I'll play it. But
Take that bad boy.
I know they're good because it kind of gives the console a good run out. But we've got so much like games that don't give the console a run out that actually are just good games. That I feel like I could just lean on those. But I know you're quite tempted by these racing games, these sim games when they come along and offer graphical fidelity coming out of their asses.
Gran Turismo was always the sort of like the tech demo of each console, wasn't it? I've had my fix now of racing game with Forza. I haven't really gone back to that, to be honest. But the price tag definitely puts me off. It's one that's not huge. I'm not a massive fan of these racing games, but I happily play them because they're a nice little brain. Like, you ain't got to think about anything while you're playing it. You just literally can just sit and rot.
Yeah.
When I'm in this current state I'm in right now, I could just sit there and
I'd suggest you go to bed, but
well, that will be 100% happening. But yeah, so that price is absolutely ridiculous. But it'd be interesting. But that's the equivalent of fucking Street Fighter bringing out this 6 and going no fighter packs, and then day 3 after the fucking thing going fighter
packs.
pack. There you go, boys. Deal with that. So that's piss poor from Polyphonic.
Yeah, piss poor from Sony and Jim. Piss poor from Polyphonic.
Polyphonic, what you doing, Stillman?
Yeah, old Salmon. Chocobo GP, the real racer. Well,
you ain't wrong there.
not
That ain't
wrong. Well, but then again, given that Square Enix are going to be involved, I wouldn't be surprised if there's fucking microtransactions up your ass for that. So
yeah.
you got to be careful. Right, main event.
Ooh.
Kirby.
Cool. The last of Kirby.
The Forgotten what? What's it called? The Forgotten
Land.
The Forgotten Land. I've played the demo.
Oh, meaty, wasn't it?
Gone out and played.
Was it
About an
free
hour
stage?
or so.
Oh,
I could have
was it?
gone through it quicker probably, but yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Sorry.
And the Forgotten Land. That's
So
what it was.
Nintendo, I like it when they do these little, especially for stuff like Kirby. I'm not really sure. I don't.
Pink blob.
There's every chance. It's just a pink blob. There's
I
every chance it could be poor, but I thought I'll give this a go. And
I mentioned, I can't know if I mentioned this before, but when I went to the boys' first ever parents' evening, the teacher said to me, she's like, he's obsessed with this little thing called Kirby. What's a Kirby? I was like, God, don't you know?
he eats cars now, you see.
Yeah, it's not one of those household names, old Kirby.
No. But I played for the demo twice, in fact, because there's 2 difficulties. So Here's what you get. You get 3 stages in the demo. You get one called Point of Arrival, which is basically a tutorial level, learning how to suck things up and spit them out and hover and all that stuff.
Dirty git.
Then you got Downtown Grassland, which is like a standard level. And then the Brawl at the Mall, which is a boss level. Take on this big fucking monkey stroke ape / chimpanzee, don't know what it is, a primate of sorts. And you got 2 difficulty modes. You got Spring Breeze mode, which is what it defaults to, like when you load up that menu. And then you got Wild mode. Essentially, one of them you have much less life, do less damage, take more damage, but you get more stars per activity. So when you kill something, you get stars, which is like a currency, I guess. Spring Breeze mode, easier, less stars. And there are collectibles that it looks like are only available in the Wild mode. Style of things, but you can go back and just replay a stage and keep your running total style. So you could do the Spring Breeze to start with, and then go back and do the Wild mode and clean up on the collectibles. So the first thing that it surprised me slightly, maybe I should have been paying more attention to the trailers and whatnot, is that it's not fully. How am I going to word this? It's 3D, but your camera's not 3D.
Oh, right.
So it's more like, what's that Super Mario game that you played last year? with
3D land, was it?
with
3D?
Bowser's Fury.
Yeah,
So you
3D.
had Bowser's Fury, which
3D
was
World, was it?
yeah, I think
3D World.
Yeah, Bowser's
Yeah,
Fury,
let's
which
go
had
with
the
that.
full 3D camera,
Yeah,
didn't
it was. That was it. That's correct. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 3 is almost essentially a 2.5.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it is in a 3D world, but you can pan the camera from side to side, but you can't swing
Right.
around or anything. And I was a bit like, oh, okay. For some reason, I thought this was
I assumed.
a big, full 3D camera. So you're kind of you're at the mercy of the perspective that it's going to give you. But I was pleasantly surprised of how it played. It wasn't the.
How was the graphics compared to that Pokemon?
Oh, much better than that. Yeah, it looked like a game that was made this decade, so it was. It wasn't even close in terms of that.
I got that screenshot you put in the group. I was like, "Cool, what's that?"
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I played through each of the stages and done them also on the wild mode as well. And there's some interesting sort of tidbits that I was able to sort of glean from this. You can. Throughout the game, it looks like you can take hold of and pick up what they call blueprints, and you can use them to evolve the standard sort of abilities that you can inhale from people. So one of them is like a standard sword, like you hail the bloke the sword, you get the sword, you can use that. Now, what they're saying in this one is that you can upgrade that power or that ability, so it hits harder, it hits longer, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, one of them it was showing a little tray at the end. There's one where you can like fly as like a dragon.
Oh, blimey.
You look like a little summon almost, but you take part of the dragon. So they're doing some nice things around the upgrades in terms of the abilities, and obviously the main thing about Kirby is you can inhale the abilities and start to use them.
Yeah,
so that's good. The main the main crux of the game is that you get sucked through a fucking vortex portal, which surprise, surprise, sounds like Pokemon again. And then you land in this new world, which I don't know if it is Earth, but it looks like Earth has been fucked up. It looks like Putin's had his way, and everyone's died out, and it's been left to rot, and everything's grown back like The Last of Us. There's cars, there's vending machines, traffic cones. This is all stuff that I would associate with Earth rather than a random planet. And you've landed on that planet, and these nasty little bug bastards have stolen the Waddle Dees, which are these little fucking creatures. You've got a little fella that comes along with you that you kind of bump into early on called Ethelyn, and he's some soppy cunt with big ears, and that's like your little mate. Salmon is asking, is the co-op more than 2-player? I think it's 2-player only. When I went onto that screen, I didn't actually sanction it and put it on, but it was only going to offer me for the one Joy-Con. So I think so. And basically, another player just plays as a sort of a copier of Kirby. In the way that works. But you've got a little town. This is not in the demo. This is just what was kind of... It was going, this is what you can do if you play the game. It's a little town, so the more you rescue of these Waddle Dees, it will rebuild parts of the town. So that they're saying that at the town you can watch movies at the cinema. You can enjoy a quiet meal. You can get a part-time gig, and you can take part in challenging mini games. So that's kind of all there as well. But really, that's about it. Any questions? Because you've obviously mentioned earlier that you've seen the youngster playing it.
Yeah, the youngster was having a little bash. I wasn't taking too much notice, but I chucked it on and I thought, I'll get rid of him for a half hour.
Yeah.
Off you go, pup. But no, what type of game? Like, I didn't think it was going to be open world, but I did, by the looks of it, I did see that hub world. Is it a bit like a sort of Monster Hunter? As that's where you do, and then because I saw one, he's sort of like flying through the level to get to the missions. I don't know if that's on there. So
the 3 stages that I took part in, you just sort of dropped in. They're very linear,
right?
Like there's secrets to find, but you're not. It's not like Odyssey,
right?
Where you're sort of exploring a large environment. These are very much there's an A and a B, and enemies in between you.
Of course.
But I did see in the trailer that is to travel to them. It's like, almost like an overworld map that you can use to go to them. So I'm assuming that's kind of how you do it. But this is not a the levels. At least the ones I played were not big open spaces with lots to do and quests within the level as such. Like you would jump into the stage. They're called stages as well, which kind of gives it away, I think. And in there you have a main quest, which is like complete the stage, but hit start, there'll be other quests underneath, like collect X amount of these flowers or rescue the hidden fucking waddle dees, and so there's sort of extra tasks to do within it, but we're not talking about wandering around and chatting and going through different paths. It's quite linear in that respect.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't want to know if it was that or not. Could it get a purchase then? Is this the palate cleanser? Did you enjoy your experience enough to warrant that purchase?
To be honest, when I played it on the harder mode, the wild mode, I was a bit more used to the controls then. I did enjoy it the second time a bit more. I'm still a bit unsure. There's still...
Yeah.
It looks like... again, the trailers only show snippets of the world, but it looks like it gets pretty mad and has lots of variety, lots of different abilities that you can... They call them copy abilities. And then obviously, like I said, you can upgrade and evolve those abilities, so you've got more power. Then you've seen like the Kirby point where he eats the car and you become the car. They're called mouthful abilities. So you can do that a few times. So you've got the car, so you can drive around a car and boost it and whatnot, run things over. And then there's one where you can mouthful a traffic cone, and that you can jump, but also you can tip it on its head and spike down on enemies. So some of them require you to sort of hit them from the top, so that's where you'd use that. And there's also like cracks in the stage, so you can smash that and open up a little secret load of stars and bits and pieces. And then the other one was a vending machine that you spit cans out of people. So I don't know how complex these end up getting, but those mouthful abilities are there as well. But it's tough to tell off the back of that, really. I wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. And because I was a bit taken aback by the camera not being 3D, and then the levels perhaps being a little bit more linear than I was expecting, the expectations that I had were slightly dampened, but I'm sure I can get over that. It's a bit of a wait and see, but it was no disgrace. If they can keep it as fun as it was for the 3 stages throughout the game and get lots of variety in there, then potentially, I mean, it'd be...
This will be a first ever Kirby game for yourself.
Yeah, I didn't play... You got Star Allies, didn't you?
I got it, yeah. I did. I played again. That was an Albert purchase, basically, but I did want to run through it before this, really, which I won't buy this on release, I don't think. But and I did play through a bit of that. Where he sort of gets bored halfway through and gives it to me, and I did actually finish it. But so I played bits of it, but that was very 2D side scroller. That was it. It's called Star Allies, wasn't it? You just sucked up all these different people, and then you had like a little crew of 4 of you, and then you could all combine to do moves. That was my first ever Kirby game. So I'm not he ain't no Sonic or he ain't no Mario, but yeah, I suppose no one's buying these games for the rich narrative story. But yeah, certainly it's got one of those. It's definitely a sniffer to see, and yeah, like they're quite fun. Again, it's one of those games you can sort of stick on, and you ain't got to think about it. Just play through these little platformers. They're quite fun to complete all these levels. I think there's that Captain Toad game. I quite enjoyed playing that, where you just had to. It'll give you a load of challenges to get the stars and get the...
That's it, yeah. I can see that bit. There's been a lot of like side stuff here to like collectibles and whatnot. And to upgrade, you're going to need those blueprints, sorry.
Yeah.
Because one of them, like you suck someone in, it's just a bomb. So you throw the bomb out, hits people, it explodes. And then the evolved version, because once you've gone through the demo once, it says, you can replay with evolved versions of all the powers. So I did. I went back. That's one of the reasons I went back through it. And instead of it being just a typical bomb, it's what they call a chain bomb. So you throw one bomb out, and you throw another one close to it. They're then chained together. Throw another one out. So if they're close enough, you can chain them all together, and then you could, in theory, I guess you could set that up in such a way that it takes out a load of enemies, or creates just a big blast space. Whereas the sword was like just more powerful and whatnot.
Right.
And then the boomerang was a bit more. You could throw more of the discs out, and you could like hold it and return it and do more damage. So depending on how far they go with that, that'll be interesting. But there's the little collect. I was like, do you know those little, not Kinder eggs?
Oh, right,
but
yeah.
when you had a Kinder egg, inside are those little plastic fucking contraptions.
That's right.
You basically collect those in this, and then
Oh,
at the end of the
really?
stage,
Oh.
it shows you like it's more for like gallery purposes. It'll show like the enemy and be like, here's the enemy type, and you can sort of look at it. Some have like a little lore dump about them. So it's clearly they're packing it through with collectibles and other bits and pieces in there, which will appeal to people. But I'm kind of about where I was before I'd played it. I haven't gone far up or far down. Maybe a little bit down, but then I'll think when I've got over the fact that it's not, the full 3D camera and whatnot, I'll be back to where I was. So it's still a wait and see for me, but it's you can get through both the run throughs in about an hour if you just hammer through. So again, if you're interested, get on that eShop. And
it's nice for them to be checking, especially like their first party games. They don't tend to typically do many demos these days, but nice
progress
to see.
doesn't carry through. Actually, that's one thing to mention. I know they have done that previously. So but you unlock codes that you can basically put in when you get the game, and it will give you some resources and stuff. I don't think they're anything unique. Like the code that come through was like complete, and I was like, well, anyone could just put that on the internet and use that. That's not a unique code. I thought it was going to unlock something, but it's more like, oh, here's a code. It's like, well, that'll be on the internet for people just to use that. So I won't go for it to play that. But no, eyes are on the Forgotten Land, because we're only a few weeks away, 25th of March 2022. So a couple of weeks away. But there's a demo there for those that want to go through it. But I think for this week, we'll let you go back to bed, Adkins.
Oh, get me back to bed. I am starting to flag.
Poor boy. Thanks for jumping. Well, I'll say thanks. He's an hour late, so he cost me time.
An hour late. Yeah, lucky I woke up.
I rang you.
Did you? Oh yeah, you did have a missed call. Cool.
That was on
That's
the old.
good.
That was on the what's name, wasn't it? The old Discord.
Discord, right? Yeah.
My view is, as long as I know what's going on, I can deal with it. And I was like, I know he's hungover today, so I might have to try and get on his case. But he just woke up naturally by the sounds of things. Just went, ooh.
Hungover
lappers. He's not. This boy doesn't get ill. He just gets hungover.
Get hungover.
Poor bastard.
Unbelievable.
But let you go back to bed. Everyone that's tuned in, obviously, thanks for getting this far. We appreciate your support. And if you want to spread the good word, then you can leave us a review. You can like the video if you're on YouTube, or you can support us on patreon.com/Dimp Digital, or on twitch.tv/Dimp Digital. Grassroots, fully independent outfit, bumbling their way through the gaming space, trying to tiptoe over fucking wars and stuff in the early parts of the episodes. We try and do our best, but we thank you for your kindness and support. But there's nothing more for us to say here, though, other than thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.